Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Then this is the introduction to the field of healthcare. So in healthcare, what I will be doing is making a current set of videos where I will be giving tips and advice on how to navigate the healthcare world and when one should decide when should they pick their career choice, what classes they should take, how to prepare for the exam, what materials they could use or potentially use, and what other resources out there, as well as other tips and advice and how to do this while one is trying to practice their religion. So you should probably start deciding which career you want. So there's multiple numerous about careers. There's nurse practitioner or nursing, HIM, which is the management of patient's information, or PA, which is physician assistants, which is they're like doctors, they're like nurse practitioners, but they're just one level less than the doctor. Nurse practitioner are practically like doctors, but they didn't go to they went to less schooling, and from nursing they straight went to nurse practitioner. And then medicine is, being a doctor. Now there's two kinds. You can either be a surgeon or you can be a consultant. But even when you go into the medical school, you can either go into the lowest level, which is family practitioner, or you can try to like specialize or do extra work. It depends on how well you do in medical school, where then you can decide which field you can go. Because even certain fields are very competitive. So for example, brain is competitive, skin is competitive, but the other fields are equal competitive as well, but it just depends on which field interests you and how much more extra work you should put. Now dentistry is the same thing, it's more focused on the teeth, but even they have their own specialties, such as gum, the root canals, endodontists, as well as orthodontics, or even like for example OMFS, which is surgeon oral surgeons, they concentrate on the face as well and the jaw. So these are all nice specialties, but it depends on how well you do. So yeah. Now pharmacists they also have their own field. Essentially, these are people who deal with prescriptions or medicine and the certain amount of dosage they make. So they get these orders from the doctors. So for them, they have to go to school as well, and they have their own field. But they're also a very good field. These are all very good fields. The amazing thing about healthcare is that if one wants to go in healthcare, the coursework they have to take for all this is all the same, pretty much the similar thing. So if you're taking a coursework to be a dentist, you could switch over to be a medicine or whichever, or even nurse practitioner. So they all generally have the same idea of the whole information about the body, anatomy, and physiology. They're all useful and they're all good careers. Okay, so one thing I cannot probably stress enough is the importance of timing. So you probably should start deciding, when you want when do you want to pursue and what career or when you want to do it. My best advice is do it as early as junior year or senior year at the latest. Because the issue is that when people just take too long to decide what career they want, it ends up making them spend more time in college. And I've noticed this. There's a lot of people, students who go in there and then they're like, they want to do something like, say, they want to go to medicine, and then they end up changing their career. And what happens is then it takes them a much longer time, and as a result, then they're in college for what, 5 years, 6 years, and this is not good. If you want to be out of college as fast as possible, you don't want to spend too much time, waste more money, so it's very essential you decide you want. That's why I recommend when you shadow these people, the pharmacist or a doctor or whichever, I really I really advise you strongly to do it earlier, so for sure, like, can I see myself doing this career for the rest of my life, or is this interesting? Sometimes, for example, you may look at it and you're like, yeah, it looks cool, or it sounds nice, and then when you actually are in that scenario, or if you're put in that position and you see what it is, you're like, what am I doing? This is not what I want to do. That's why I highly stress you should shadow as early as possible, and you should really decide and not like change your ideas, because then in the long run you're wasting more time, and you don't want to do that. Like, time is the essence, and this way you can graduate and then start working, going to school. Like, you can essentially, it'll help you save you time. That's why I stress you have to decide soon what career you want, and then where you want to specialize. That's why I advise you to shadow. But just because, like, for example, if one does decide to change their career or switch over, it's not necessarily a discouragement, but it's just I'm revising in terms of like so their life is more easier. But should they, decide it's, and you can go into school in any time. If you want to go back to school, if you want to go to college, or if you want to now just try pursuing medicine, if you have a business degree, that's not a problem. I'm not trying to discourage you. This is only just for those who want to, like, who are in school or young, who want to, just so that they utilize their time in a far more efficient manner. But in terms of that, like, you can go to school whenever you want. Like, you can, if you do change it, it's completely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. The main thing is, you try to decide soon. Timing is of the essence. That's the point I highly stress. Now, the other thing I have to stress is your intention. So, what is your intention? So, when you want to go into some career, like, what is your intention? Is it because you want to, please your family? Is it because, you're trying to make money? Is it just for the prestige? You want people to, like, you want your status in society to go up? Um, this is something I feel like, you should ask yourself, and it's a lot of self-reflection. For example, if, someone has a noble purpose, oh, I want to help others and this, you'll find a lot more, because your intentions are more pure, you will find a lot more success, or you'll find like it'll be easier, or if, for example, if like you could see yourself doing this for the rest of your life. If you're doing this for your family, or if you're doing this, like for prestige, like it just depends because it really these your intentions affect on how you will handle this job for the rest of your life or how you will be in the future. For example, some people who do it for family, say they want to be a doctor because of their family, this then when you do your job, how do you really know if you're doing it because you even like it? Can you see yourself doing it for the rest of your life? Because your family's not going to be around always. It's going to be you who's going to be working. So if you do want to be, are you becoming a nurse because you're being forced to? Are you becoming going to pharmacy because your whole family does it and you're being forced into it? Like, you want to ask, is it your intention? Like, can you see yourself doing it for the rest of life? If it's a job you for sure like can do it, like then then maybe your intentions are pure. Or maybe even if you do want to do it for wealth or prestige, the main thing is you don't let your intention, corrupt how you perform your actions. Because sometimes when people, if they intentions, say they want to do it just for prestige and wealth, sure, they're making money, but they don't treat their patients well. Or sometimes they become negligent and do malpractice, or they become corrupt. They don't treat their employees well. This is your intention, whatever it is, you should never let it, stop you or corrupt you in a manner where you feel like you're not going to perform your job efficiently. That's why, I say, like, if your intentions are pure or if you renew your intention, this will definitely, help you. And the biggest thing I ask is, can you see yourself doing this job for the rest of your life? If you can see yourself doing this job for the rest of your life, that's very important. If you cannot, then you should really ask yourself, should I do this? I mean, am I willing to put myself 8 years in medical school just to, make my family happy? And then when they're not there anymore, I mean, then you're literally doing it. I mean, then what was the point? You're not happy, you're miserable, you're going to work and you don't want to do this. Like, there are so many cases like that. So the main thing I just ask is, what is your intention? Is it just to make others happy? Is it just show off? Or is it you want to be a beneficial member of society? You know, and having a like luxurious life, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just like I said, the main thing is you don't let it corrupt you. So inshallah there will be more content and more videos which I will make. The next video will most likely be about what coursework you should take for your medical routes or whatever, whether it's pharmacy, nurse, whichever, even dentist. And then after that, then the next video I'll be showing is the prep materials that I specifically use to take for my DAT exam, and then I can do the breakdown and talk about more about that. And then after that, I'll even give more tips and advice on how to prepare for an interview, the type of questions you can expect, the type of things you can deal with. And then, lastly, I'll even give more tips and advice on how one should practice their religion, Islam, while being in school. So there will be many more, so please stay tuned, subscribe if you want to see more, and share. Thank you, and Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.